As we continue our deep reporting here at Bloomberg Surveillance, joining us from the shores of Maine, Lakshman Achuthan with the Economic Cycle Research Institute. Huge inflation call, Lakshman. I don't care. Cold or warm lobster roll?
Oh, gosh. I think I'm going cold.
Yes.
It's
Okay,
summer.
we can continue. We've just been doing a survey on this, and you're on the right side of the conversation. Lakshman, you have a paragraph that's incendiary, and this goes back to Economic Cycle Research Institute pushing against the Wall Street call. Inflation. Okay, we got some indicators of a lessening inflation. You flat out disagree and call it a head fake.
Yeah, it's a head fake. I mean, we saw this coming a mile away. Just to recap, I know your regular viewers know this, but we saw the inflation cycle upturn before the war. All those regular cyclical drivers of inflation were in full force. They've run up to, I think it's a 47-month high in those forward-looking data. The coincident data follows suit. Here we have the headline data this week easing. And that's very exciting. We saw it coming a mile away because we knew when energy came off that the headline would fall. So you look at the core, and the core readings are holding up, in some cases much more than you might expect. And that is the rub. We saw the head fake coming. Here it is. No big surprise, but it still distracts people for a while. Our forward-looking indicators are kind of seeing the forest for the trees here.
What's the cause of core inflation, underlying inflation, X energy here? What's going on?
What's the cause of it?
Yeah, what's kind of driving it?
Well, this is interesting, right? So, and we'll have this conversation with clients all the time where they'll want to decompose it and say, let me add this part and that part, owner's equivalent rent or plastics or some other input that went up. And isn't that what it is? And I predict that that component will go down. So therefore, maybe it's transitory. But what we're looking at with the forward-looking indicators are a handful of really big drivers of inflation. Bottlenecks, credits, there's employment stuff, there's exchange stuff, there's all kinds of things in there. And when they start to move together, which is what our forward future inflation gauge is picking up, then the underlying drivers are activated. And that happened before the war. So I don't think people woke up to what was happening until they saw the headline oil prices going up. And then they said, oh, maybe there's something here. So if oil prices go down, maybe there isn't something here. That's the head fake. That's the incendiary head fake that Tom picked up out of the report, is that inflation cycle pressures are here. They're not going away. Anecdotally, I could just pick on stuff, right? Jobless claims fell. Job market's fine. Credit, people are borrowing, as you were mentioning just a moment ago. People are borrowing. Sometimes they're borrowing for horrible reasons. They're survival swiping, right, at the lower end of the K in order to pay the prices. But they're also borrowing to speculate and leverage up their bets.
Is it stagflation where real GDP comes down even if inflation stays at an ECRI high? Or is it this buoyant nominal GDP everyone's living right now? Is the great miscall here that we sustain an ample nominal GDP?
Yeah. That's so we could hope for an inflationary boom, right? And those are more fun. And we're getting some little bits of that here. I think the economy, as we said, was not in a window of vulnerability. The expansion continues. All that spending on AI and stuff is percolating out into the economy in all various real ways, right? There's real demand as you build things. So all of that is there. It's also sucking up supply, which is inflationary. So we get a little bit of this feeling of the inflationary boom. I think the real risk, so our view, right, is that, hey, inflation cycle is here. It's not going away. And then what about, is it the inflationary boom or is it a little stagflationary? That's the next interesting thing. And some of the forward-looking indicators are coming off on growth. And that's our next discussion. I'm not prepared to do that today, Tom, but that is our next discussion. That's what we're looking for, because if you're priced for perfection
Right.
and growth comes in a little lower, now we got to talk again.
Lakshman, thank you so much. Lakshman Achuthan from Maine, and they're missing most of the smoke. Ben